The massive oil leak from the Keystone Pipeline in South Dakota is said to be controlled and not a threat to public safety.
More than 75 people are at the site of the spill in a rural area, and crews were working around the clock.
Kaylee Smith reports on its impact to those living nearby.
Well, it's like the other shoe dropping. We were told by a lot of people when TransCanada put this thing in the ground that the conditions, it was sloppy, wet conditions, and they just drove it in because in a hurry, you know, time is money.
Some landowners were hesitant when the pipeline was first put in.
Thin wall, high pressure, hazardous liquid pipeline, and then slamming it in the way they did, putting cement weights on it to hold it down in the water that they were putting it in the trenches. They said, how can something like this not happen?
The oil smell in the air is a concern for area farmers.
I wouldn't want to be downwind of that smell very long because they tell us, the experts told us when this whole thing was happening, that it's very deadly, very poisonous. And you really need to stay away.
But safety is a huge priority for TransCanada.
You know, we're fortunate that this segment of pipeline doesn't cross any major water bodies or anything like that, and there's no indication that there are any adverse environmental impacts at this point.
With over 1.5 billion barrels transported through the Keystone Pipeline since 2010.
We send actual pigs through our pipeline. There are gauges that can, note any kind of sensitive areas and that, obviously no incident is acceptable to us, but TransCanada has a very strong safety record and a very strong protocol as it relates to inspecting our pipelines.
I'm sure they're hoping it doesn't break any more than we hope, but I'm afraid time will tell.
There were some questions about a 5-hour gap between the pipeline company detecting the leak and notification of state environmental officials, and South Dakota Environmental Management say they'll be looking into the reason for that delay.
Generosity was in the air yesterday. Later on Valley News Live at 6, details on this unique online fundraiser.
More cool weather as we close out our work week. Temperatures today did manage to make it into the upper 30s here in Fargo, above average for this time of the year. Looks like some cool weather before the warmth takes hold. All the details in your hour-by-hour forecast are next.